Adam Geffert was broke in 2016. He made $2 million in 1 year in 2020. He's made over $500,000 playing card games online. His father is a Zen Buddhist, and he's been yelled at by either Elizabeth Holmes or Martin Shkreli. Adam, how much of that is true? And what is unique about your background that would be fun to talk about?
Yeah, that's all true. I used to work for Martin Shkreli, that last one, not Elizabeth Holmes. That was when I was getting my start in New York City, working for hedge funds, and getting experience there.
What's the story there?
Well, I just I was with the poker. I was a professional poker player for a while, between 2004 and 2008, and then 2009 I wasn't doing as well at poker, and I shifted to the stock market. So I shifted to trading, and I made somewhere around I would guess. I mean, I probably made maybe $1 million on online poker, with my whole career, but then I lost it all in the stock market, because I was I was just making bad trades. I was going all in, basically going too big and stuff. And also I was a Warren Buffett fan, and I was applying value investing to trading, which doesn't always correlate. It does in some ways, but other ways it doesn't. So I mean, now I've learned to correlate, choose what Warren Buffett philosophies work with trading, and then what don't, and when do you have to be only technical, and when do you want to be only fundamental, or combine the two with technicals and fundamentals. And that's where I've had a lot of my success right now with trading.
So what Warren Buffett strategies do work?
Well, the fundamentals are always always important. Sometimes they're more important than other times. If you're basically usually the smaller the stock, the smaller the company, the less fundamentals matter. That is if it's low float. But back talking about my beginnings, I was just when I started trading, it was during the stock market crash in 2008 and 2009. So I mean, most people when they start trading, they're basically thinking about going long, and so I was longing various tech stocks like Lucent back then, and others, and but then the stock market crashed. Then I was thinking, well, I can make a lot of money shorting, when it goes down. So and everywhere you looked, it was all negativity. Like on CNBC, all the people they interviewed were so negative. This is in 2008 and early 2009, and so I just got into shorting in 2008, and then in about 2012, so I lost a lot of money, and I made some back, whatever. But then in 2012, I went to New York City, and I was working for some hedge funds, and then I went on my own again. But I worked for Martin Shkreli's fund before they blew up, because Martin Shkreli was he's good at innovation with the drug pricing, but he wasn't the best hedge fund manager. Like to be, it's two different things, like being a trader and being an analyst, like we just said, and he just wasn't making some good decisions there with trading. So his hedge fund blew up. But I was working for him. He was pretty arrogant. He was made it clear that I was the low man on the totem pole, even though I was older than he is. But I still was there interning, and then I worked for a couple other hedge funds like Kirshner Trading Group. I was an analyst there, and I got my CFA designation. So now I have my CFA, chartered financial analyst. And then I just went on my own. I just went and started my own business, White Diamond Research, around 2013, 2014. And I was, trading my own money, also selling research to high net worth individuals and hedge funds. And it was just a matter of just kind of getting better at it over time, losing less money, learning from your mistakes. And from New York City, I moved to Medellin, Colombia. I lived there for 5 years. And then, like you said, I made $2 million in 2020. I would say 2016, I was pretty much broke, living in Colombia. Luckily it's not a very high cost of living over there, so I did fine, living on not much money there. And then since 2016, I made a comeback, and each year I did better and better. And I did better 2017, 2018, in 2019, I was making, six figures, probably those years making six figures. And then I had my breakthrough year in 2020, made, about 2 million. And then, last year I probably made about the same, and then this year, maybe I'll make more. We'll see. We'll see. So that's kind of some of my history right there. And it's how I got to where I'm now. And I moved here in Puerto Rico a year ago, partially because the whole visa thing is difficult, and in Medellin, like Colombia, they're real strict. And also I was making a decent amount of money, and Puerto Rico is similar to Medellin in some ways. It's a tropical area. Weather's really, really nice and hot. Better in Medellin, it's more streamlined. But here, obviously no capital gains tax, and that's when you're making a lot of money, that's a big deal. And then I don't have to deal with all the bullshit in the US with the student loan forgiveness and all the money they're spending on the war and everything else. I'm not going to be hurt by that living here, because I pay much less taxes.
Got it.
Yep.
So you're investing out of your own account. You don't work with anyone else, and you're able to make multiple millions a year now. So what does it take to do that? And what is it like doing that on your own?
Well, for me, I think it's about remembering the right situations. Like memory is I think memory is the most important thing for a trader, because you're going to make the same mistakes over and over again. That's just human nature. We keep, putting our hand on the stove and burning our hand over and over again with trading. But the mistakes are, they happen in different forms. Like they're the same mistake, but it's like, you'll make like the cousin of a mistake you made last week. It's like related situation. Like the same situation happens over and over again with trading. So what you need to do is remember, okay, I made a mistake before in this situation. Now this situation looks like it's happening again. So now you do something different this next time. You have to learn from that, and eventually you'll just remember so many forms of the same situation that you'll basically know what to do. You'll know the right decision based on your knowledge right there. And I've been trading for a long time, like 10 years. So I've seen the same situation happen enough times, and I'm trying to remember what happened. That's how eventually you get better at trading. And then I have my research business. So I trade on my own research, and I sell my research to clients, and they can trade on it, and I get paid for selling my research as well. So that helps.
Cool.
But I will say, analysis is different from trading. When I'm trading during the day, it's so hectic because I have a bunch of positions on all the time, and I'm constantly like trading back and forth on my positions that I really don't have time to do analysis. So I just realized recently that I'm gonna spend one day a week just doing nothing but analysis. And of course, while I'm trading, I'll get ideas from trading, and also I'll do some analysis by because I have like a news stream that shows me all the news for the different stocks. So I follow a bunch of different stocks, usually shitcos, because I'm a short seller mostly. And then I do work on the weekends, analysis, and then I'm going to try to just do analysis on Wednesdays and not do trading those days.
Sounds like a complementary balance. So you also are listening to other people. You're trading with other people. What is it like trading with other people, and how do you listen to them while also listening to yourself?
Well, that's a tough one. It's when you work with other people, you need to really know that person. that you're trading with. Like you need to know where they're coming from, you know, what success that they have, and also how they view stocks. Like their view is going to be different from yours. You know, even if you're both successful, they might have a different strategy than you have. And you know, with any strategy, sometimes your strategies work, sometimes they don't. You know, a winning strategy should work most of the time. But you have to know like why are they going to get in this position? You know what, and if you're going to follow them into a position, like if you're going to follow them in a trade, like they're taking a trade, they're like, hey, I really like this stock, you know, long this stock or short it, and here's why. It's really important for you to ask why, because if you just blindly follow somebody, it could be a disaster, because you don't know when to pull the plug. You don't know if maybe he's going to be wrong this time or not. And in general, you don't know what size to get, and then you don't know when to exit and when to when to add to it. So now I will say there's an exception, is if this person you're working with says, oh, this is a slam dunk trade, this is a great trade. Like that's how I am. Like when I see a trade that's a slam dunk, that's a really high probability win, I'll tell the people I'm working with, hey, this is like 99% chance this is going to work. That's me. But when other people say that, they might say, oh, this is going to work 100%. They might be wrong, you know? So you got to make sure if he's the type of person, when he says it's a slam dunk, it's really a slam dunk. Because I'm sure you've seen plenty of times people say, oh, this is a guaranteed trade, it's going to work. And then it's not going to work. And then it doesn't work. So you just need to know where they're coming from. And, you know, I made a couple mistakes recently. Like following people into trades. Like one guy was telling me like this new SPAC SAI was supposed to be a good long because it has a low float. And so I just blindly kind of went into it, and I was accumulating it because this guy's been right before. He's been right about longing SPACs in the past. That some of them I've followed him and some of them I missed, but he's been right most of the time. So I followed him into this. But what I didn't realize, for one thing, is they added shares on the merger. On the merger, they added extra shares, so that increased the float. And also, he told me later, like, oh, it's a shit company. You know, I didn't even ask him that. Like, I didn't even. So this topic's like really fresh in my mind, because I didn't ask him any questions. I just blindly went in without asking any questions. But what I should have done, this is SAI is like a Bitcoin miner that uses a special kind of energy, like a clean energy. You know, I mean, we've seen plenty of these kind of companies before. But yeah, he even said it's a shit company. And then I didn't ask him that before. I didn't know that. And it just ended up totally crashing on me the last couple of days, because the market crashed and momentum trades are not working right now. Like this friend of mine is good with momentum trades in the past, but now in this market, momentum's not working too well.
Got it.
And yeah.
So I've seen you lose $300,000 in one trade just a couple of weeks ago. You've also made a lot more than that in one trade. So how do you know when to cut a losing trade and when to double down on your thesis that you're correct?
Well, that's the tough one. You have to look at. I think you have to look at if the story changed, or or maybe there's something there that you noticed but you didn't notice before, or if the that the whole macro picture changed. Like for example, with the SAI, the macro picture changed. The market was crashing a couple of days ago and right now. So that I should have just cut my losses. I should have just cut it right there. I should have just said, I'm done with this and get out. Because when the market crashes, momentum trades don't work. You just have to go for value. And since this company is a shitco, like fundamentally it's not a good value, that I shouldn't be long it when the market is crashing. It's like what Warren Buffett says. When the tide comes in, or when you see you swimming naked, it's the same thing with stocks most of the time. So there's that. Now, another situation recently too that I should have cut it was a lot of these Chinese stocks have been crashing right after IPOs. Like they went up a lot on the IPOs and they crashed. Like for example, OST, I shorted that at 39 and I covered at eight. And that was like a made over 200 grand on that one. Then this other one, this TNON, that one didn't crash right away. And on top of that, everybody was getting bought in. Like I got bought in, which means I'm forced to cover because the person lending the shares to short decides not to lend the shares out anymore. So I had to cover. I went really big because it was after the OST win. I was like, nice, man. I wish you went bigger in OST. So I went even bigger with TNON. I went huge. And then the moment that it didn't crash, and the moment everyone was getting bought in, I should have just covered everything. Maybe even switch long. I mean, that's the next level, you know. But at the very least, I should have just cut it, like just been done with it. And I wasn't done. I mean, and then all I did was I got bought in. About half my shares got bought in because I shorted on 3 different brokers. And then but because I didn't switch gears, I just held on. Then it went up to like 40. I shorted around 20, like a little over 20, and then I had to cover around 24, and then it went to 40, and then I had to cover like close to 40 or high 30s. So I lost more on that than I won on the OST. And that was a big blunder, and it's also not my bread and butter play. It's not a big play there. I mean, it's not what I'm used to. It wasn't a safe play. It was really dangerous. And I just didn't have the awareness to see that at the time. So hopefully, you know, back to where we're talking about memory, hopefully I'll keep that memory. And, you know, if this or that other one, the situation will happen again, because you know it is going to happen again. I mean, the same things happen over and over again with trading, but just in a different form, but a similar situation. Then I'll remember to completely cut my losses on that.
So
Now,
go ahead.
well, I was just going to say the situation where you add to your position is if nothing's really changed, but it's a better price. So you should go bigger on it. Like if something, okay, so if you need to get in really quick because there's a downtrend, or if you're shorting and there's a downtrend, then you want to go all in right away because it's already you're already in the downtrend, and it's a clear downtrend. But if it's not downtrending yet, if it's still maybe going up or just going sideways, then what you can do is trim your position when it goes your way, and then add to your position when it goes against you. And because it's kind of like, you know, if you're a value investor, you know, you might not buy a stock unless it's really, really undervalued. Like you're not going to buy a stock if it's only like maybe, you know, 10 or 20% undervalued. That's not enough. But if it's like 40 or 50% undervalued, you know, like Warren Buffett style, then he'll buy it up, buy a lot of it. And the similar with shorting, it's like you might not short it if it's just a little bit overvalued, but then if it gets more overvalued, then you want to add to your position and go even bigger on it, because you know eventually it's gonna correct back to your way.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you trade with a former architect, a former golfer, a doctor, and others. What do you learn from these people, and why do you like listening to what they have to say about a stock?
Well, I mean, we got kind of an you know, all-star group here. I mean, what I'm trading with. I mean, I learned a lot from a lot of these guys. I mean, you know, the architect and the golfer, they're really solid, you know, technical traders. And you know, I've learned a lot from those guys about you know, just having a solid strategy, you know, instead of being all over the place. Because I try to long once in a while, and then they're like, oh, I'm short this. So I'm like, shit, you know, I should have shorted that. And then it, you know, sure enough, it went their way. But I've also, you know, learned to like to trim it quicker. Like before, I was mostly like a fundamental trader, so I would hold on. I would let my winners run. But there's a time to let your winners run, and there's also a time to cut it, to cover, and then re-short later. Like if you think it's falling now, but it's going to bounce back later, then you may want to drop the position and then put it back on later. But on the other hand, if you think it's in a mode where it's just going to keep going your way, then you don't want to cut it. You want to let it run. So that's part of the art of trading. You need to evaluate, okay, should I cut my position and take profits now, or should I let my winners run? Now you mentioned those people, that goes back to what I'm not going to mention any names, but it helps to know who you're working with. And I might learn a lot from these guys, but at the same time, I know why they make their decisions, and I make my own. I let them do their thing, and I use from them what helps me. But if they're going to give me information that doesn't help me, then I'm just gonna ignore that. Like if they're saying if they say, oh, I don't like the short, but I like it, I'm still going to take it. Or otherwise too, if they cut, if they say, well, I'm covering here, I might still wait. No, I'm going to let it. I think it'll go further. And then also they might be the type that say this is a home run trade, but it's like we spoke about earlier, but it's really not. Like when I say it's a home run trade, it is. But when someone else says it, you gotta question, is his version of a home run trade or a slam dunk trade the same as mine? If he's like confident. Now another guy that I'm working with is a total clown. He's always telling jokes all the time. Now that's fine if I'm all for telling jokes. I love having a good time with people. I love laughing. Like if I'm out at a bar with somebody, I love a guy that tells jokes all the time. It's great. I love being social. I'm trying to, increase my social network here in Puerto Rico. But when I'm working, that's not the time for jokes. That's serious business. I'm trying to make money. And if I have to, listen to somebody telling jokes all the time, I'm going to tend to ignore that person. Because it's like if you're like in a battlefield, like the stock market's like a war. If you're getting shot at and somebody next to you is telling a joke, I'd want to shoot him and get him out of there, right? It's like that's not the time to do it, So that's just, you just have to know people, what they're doing, and what know their style, and know when to avoid them and when to also use them to my advantage to help me make money. And then I also have to make sure I help people make money too. It goes both ways. I try to help other people make money, and then they're helping me. But if somebody's not going to help, isn't helping me, then I'm not gonna help them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you've got 10 years of experience. Someone who's just in their first year, they could learn from you for an entire year just about SEC filings, about how these companies are valued. What is the 1 minute, 5 minute version of that you can tell them? If you focus on this direction, you're going to be headed in the right direction to maybe get to a place where you are now down the road.
Well, I think I would say that's a good question. I would tell them, try to learn from somebody who's already successful with trading, but make sure that they are successful, and then just don't do exactly what they do, but do kind of incorporate what they do into your style. Like do trades that make sense to you, but see what works for them, and do what works for them. So I'd say start with that, and then also I'd say again, back to the memory thing, try to remember what happened, and then write it down in a journal to help your memory, and then just try to remember for the future. Try to learn from every experience, because with trading, you learn the most when you lose money. So that's just the way it goes. Like I think that's the way for everybody. Like sometimes you learn when you win too. Like maybe you thought, okay, I could have made more money if I did this, but you still made money. But when you lose money, it really sinks in like, fuck, like I don't ever want to do that again. You know, I don't ever want to go through that experience again. So when you first start out, it's good to lose money because that means you're learning. Just don't lose, just don't spend, don't use enough money that don't trade with enough money that that you're going to lose a significant amount. Like when you lose money, you're trying to win, so you start small. And when you lose, then say, this is great that I'm losing money. This is when I'm learning the most. And then so that's the way I look at it. Now, like I said earlier, I lost a lot of money, more than I wanted to, on those two stocks, SAI and TNON. And it really hit hard for me. So I'm going to learn a lot from those in the future. So, I mean, that's a way to look at it. It's a good thing. You know, it hurts to lose that much money, but the more I lose, the more I want to try not to do that again. So that's, you could look at it as a positive like that. You know?
Well, Adam, my promise to you then is that by the end of the year, you will see me lose an amount of money that is somewhat meaningful, because I need to size up, and I've been somehow placed in this position where I get to learn from someone like you, which, let's be real, wouldn't happen ordinarily sitting next to you at your desk. And I get to see how you're talking through companies' number of outstanding shares available to the public, but also what the company is actually producing, or in most cases, not producing. And that makes a big impact on me, knowing that you know how to write a short report about these 99% of companies that aren't going to be the next Facebook. Because I personally come from a background of data, which misses a lot about what's actually happening. So I really appreciate having that opportunity. And maybe you could just close with a little bit about what you see newbies, what mistakes you see newbies making.
Well, yeah. You've helped me as well. I mean, you know, you're a good trader as well already. I can tell, you know, from working together. And I guess I still have mistakes with newbies. You know, maybe going too big before they've realized, you know, before they become a good trader, they're going too big and blow up their account right away. You know, it's not, I don't think it's one mistake that they make. It's just they don't learn fast enough, and not everybody's cut out for trading. You know, not everyone's a winner with it. And I think, you know, I think they need to figure that out if they are cut out for it. And if they are, they got to work really hard at the beginning. I would say a lot of hard work. You know, work your ass off the first year, and then if you still don't get it, maybe it's not the right thing for you to do.
I think that's a super realistic answer. And I appreciate having the opportunity to continue to learn from you. I know there's a lot of information that you put out for everyone to learn about a specific company. Where can people find out more about the stock information you're putting out, and where can people get in touch with you?
Well, you can get in touch with me on whitediamondresearch.com is my website. They can join the mailing list on there, where I just send out you know, my research to the people that join my mailing list there, and they actually get my research before Twitter. So you see my account. I have 2 Twitter accounts, White Diamond Research and Adam Geffert, CFA. So they can follow both of my accounts on there, and they'll get, you know, my thoughts on the stock market from both of those accounts. And the like I said, the White Diamond Research, I'll post my research on there. But the people that subscribe on my website, they get it about maybe like 5 minutes before the people on Twitter get it. So then obviously the paying subscriber, I mean, people that pay me get it first over the free subscribers. But yeah, that's how that works.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. And any closing words?
No, I would just say, yeah, I mean, feel free to send me a DM on Twitter on my Adam Geffert, CFA account on Twitter if you want to get in touch with me. And yeah, just trading is great. I mean, I'm not an exceptional person, and I've made a lot of money for trading. I couldn't do that anywhere else. Like trading is, this profession that you can make a lot of money because it's inefficient, and compared to other things like games of skill, like chess, poker, sports betting, those are all extremely difficult to win consistently. But I think trading is the best way to win if you're like a gamer, for people that aren't like, the top 0.1%, like, and if you're just the top, like maybe 5 or 10%, then you can do really well.
Very cool.